Honorable Commodore Bijendra Kumar Ahluwalia, our Principal Dr. Neelam Arora, Vice Principals Mrs. Vidya Bide, Madam, for Edit Section Dr. Arun Pujari Sir, SFC, and Mrs. Sulbha Aure Ma'am for Junior College, and my dear colleagues and students, a very warm welcome to this symbolic ceremony marking the 74th Independence Day of the nation. Seeking the blessings of Almighty and one of the great freedom fighters, Lala Lajpat Rai ji, on whom the college has been named and whose spirit we aspire to imbibe, we begin today's celebrations. I request you all to kindly rise up for the national anthem. Fazia, please play the national anthem.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधिगंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाये तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you, everyone. 15th August is a very auspicious festival for independent India. It's a golden day engraved in the history of the world. Every year, we celebrate the day with great zeal and enthusiasm. We pay our tribute to our freedom fighters who fought and got us our freedom. We also celebrate our achievements and aspire for further progress. This year, though the pandemic has bound us physically, it cannot bind our spirits. And so we are here on this virtual platform. On that note, I request our volunteer, Sanmeet, to please play a short video dedicated to our real heroes, depicting some of the activities we did last year on the same day and also today's flag hoisting ceremony done in our college. Sandeep, there is no audio.
Yeah, there is no audio.
celebrated that as well with the police officers at Tardeo police station. And that is our Corona warriors. That's again our students with the police officials last year. That's our Air Force team, our students again. The Navy and a tribute paid to Corona warriors this year earlier. That's again from the police station. Few pics of last year's Raksha Bandhan celebration again. We had actually done a street play, small, for the police officials there, and that's the flag hosting. That's our student volunteers with medical staff last year. We assisted them in medical checkup camps across PMC schools in Mumbai. The audio is missing. I'm sorry for that. I'm just trying to make up for it. That's our college ceremony done every year by the junior college and the senior college. That's the defense team all together. Jai. I now request our principal, Dr. Neelam Arora, madam, to kindly address the gathering. Ma'am, I think you are on mute. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Good morning to all the members and welcome to Commander Ahluwalia sir for this program organized virtually by our DLLE department. I congratulate the DLLE organizers, Meenam and Vishaka and their team for not letting the physical meet stop us from meeting on such an important day, Independence Day. So first of all, happy Independence Day to all of you and a very good morning and a bright morning. This morning we just had a nice flag hoisting ceremony in the college this morning although the attendees were few, but the spirit was still alive. The topic on superheroes, applauding the superheroes. I don't know what to say. Superheroes really don't have wings. They really don't have any extraordinary powers, but they have extraordinary acts to their credit. They're the superheroes who are human beings who bring out their extraordinary qualities in any kind of challenges and rise above themselves to save mankind. So, our police force, our doctors, our BMC officials, our nurses, all of them working round the clock to help us overcome this pandemic, risking their own life, is something we have to appreciate and applaud. So, on behalf of all of us, I would like to applaud and acknowledge and humbly bow my head towards them for their selfless service in this pandemic time. I'm sure that these times will also pass and better days will come when we will all meet once again. I congratulate the DLLE department and applaud the efforts of all the workers who are working round the clock to protect us, to help us. And on our part, we must do our duty, stay indoors, stay safe, help them to help us, and not be a blockage in their way, and we should not hamper their goings, because if we don't do what we are supposed to do, their task becomes more difficult. I'm sure Commander Ahluwalia has a lot to say with his experience in this field and in the Navy, and sure he has a lot of guidance to give us. So we look forward to hear you. Thank you, and a happy Independence Day to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for those inspiring words. Moving ahead, I would now like to introduce to all our chief guest for this session. I request Sanmeet to please start the presentation. Yes. So it is indeed a great privilege and pleasure for me to introduce our chief guest for today's session, Commodore Bijendra Kumar Ahluwalia, a well-decorated naval officer and recipient of Vishisht Seva Medal in the year 2000 by the then President of India, Honorable K.R. Narayananji. This man merely requires any introduction, though. He is well known for his work in the field of Indian Navy. Besides, he is currently practicing law as an advocate in Mumbai High Court and Supreme Court. He comes from a village background, and due to his high ambitions, hard work, sincerity, and positive thinking, has achieved so much in life. Sir joined Indian Navy in March 1970 as a commissioned officer and retired after 34 years of active service. He has participated in the Indo-Pakistan War of 1971 on an operational warship and in other actions also till his service in 2003. The seed of perseverance and excellence has been sowed in him since the very childhood with his active involvement in NCC, and the legacy has been carried over by his children, a daughter who is CA and a son, Ankur Ahluwalia, who is a captain in Merchant Navy and has commanded the largest and biggest LPG tanker, now settled in Kuala Lumpur. Sir is now happily settled in Mumbai with his family. He, having done his law, also did appointments of Naval Judge Advocate General, and his hobbies include playing golf and spending quality time with his grandchildren, who are immensely attached to their dadu and dadi. Sir, truly you are an inspiration for us and a living example of making one's dreams come true. I welcome you once again on behalf of all and thank you from the core of my heart for having accepted our invitation on such a short notice. Thank you, sir. I now request you to kindly address the audience with your mighty words. Over to you, sir. Yes, sir, please.
respected principal, vice principal, other faculty members, Dr. Saxena, our pyari beti Vishaka, all faculty members and dear students, and ladies and gentlemen. It is a matter of pride for me coming to your very reputed college, and the name itself shows that you are a lover of great freedom fighter. As you know, that 15th August has a very remarkable history in our country's life, where we ceased to be a colonial power and got full autonomy on 15th August 1947. I'm sure you being belonging to a college, reputed college, you know the difference between Independence Day and the Republic Day. I need not explain, but I must mention to you that why 15th August 1947? Why not 14th? Why not 16th? Why not September? I was reading a book by a Britisher, and Lord Mountbatten was asked, why did you fix this date 15th August? And he said nothing. I was just talking to my wife over a cup of tea in the morning, and we were talking that which date should we fix up. After all, we got to hand over. And she said, can't be a better day than the date of surrender by Japanese and Germans to Britishers. And that's why 15th August 1947, there's no history behind that except this. So idea is that one, having a morning cup of tea fresh, it's better to take advice of your wife. You can't go wrong. Coming to, I may tell you that when you unfurl the flag, there is a specific way of folding the flag so that it gets unfurled easily, and there's a proper training for that. Similarly, in military, at the time of sunset, you bring the flag down. Again, there is a process to be followed, and the flag should not touch the ground at any time in any manner. Coming to the first, let me join your principle, conveying our gratitude to the corona warriors, doctors, nursing staff, other hospital staff, I would say the housekeeping staff, the security, mortuary staff, cremation ground staff, and coming to the police, BMC, and all others who are contributing, and certainly the defense forces, paramilitary forces, police, etc., etc. And we must salute them for their great contribution to keep our life safe and best of efforts to keep us healthy. Talking about 15th August, why it is celebrated? It is celebrated primarily to honor the freedom fighters, the martyrs, the revolutionaries, and the defense forces who have laid their life for this freedom and continuing the freedom what we have in our country. Sometimes, as per me, we have our freedom. We can talk anything and everything in our country and get away with it. But that's a different topic one can debate later on. Now, coming to the something about the military operations. Let me little bit talk about the Galwan Valley. Galwan Valley, all of you know, we lost our 21 colonel and 19 other men while fighting very bravely and courageously. All of you are aware that it's a top of the hill, a river is down below, a very cold climate, oxygen level is only 9% of what we have in Mumbai. There, the colonel went to check himself because the patrol party reported him there's some tents pitched up by the Chinese. So he went himself first time and he told the officer in charge from the Chinese side, please remove. And they said, yes, we'll be removing. It's only temporary shelter. After some time, the second patrol party went, and they found more tents have been pitched in, and they could see more enforcements behind the tents. The commanding officer, Bihar Regiment, immediately rushed to the spot and started telling them that why they are not honoring their words. And in that bargain, there were altercations, and they were fully prepared, the Chinese side, and they came and started hitting them. Before that, the colonel could make out that he should also ask for reinforcements, and the reinforcements were asked. They have the road up to the point, petrol point, but we didn't. Luckily, we made some kacha road, but reinforcements came. When the reinforcements came, by then the colonel had been killed. Few others were also killed. And in military, if your commanding officer is killed, the battalion goes berserk, and you cannot stop them. Even if you want to tell them stop and go back, no way. And that is what happened. That once they knew that the commanding officer has been killed, then they berserk, Bajrang Bali ki jai, and they started bare hands facing their lathis and the iron rods with nails and barbed wire, etc. They were fully prepared. But we gave them mouthful even with bare hands because of the sensitivity of commanding officer having killed and to keep the izzat of the nation. I must mention that when I was talking to a brigadier, there is a young chap, Gurmukh Singh or Gurminder Singh, from Punjab regiment also came, and he said, "So bole jo, so nihal, sasri agal," and he killed with his kirpan 4 persons who surrounded him. Then 3 more persons came, he killed all 3 of them. 2 Chinese came from the behind and hit him on his back, but he turned back despite the civil injury, and he killed 3 more before he fell down. That was the valor and josh in our soldiers, and who, in totality, as per our calculations, we killed 43 of them, and we lost about 19 and few injured ones. Well, that's the motivation and the izzat and the respect given by the nation, which motivates each and every soldier on the ground, on the front line, to do anything and everything without caring for their safety, or for the safety of the nation. That's Galwan Valley. I should also tell you as a naval officer about the South China Sea. And before I go to South China Sea, I must tell you the Galwan Valley, the Chinese have a long perspective. They want to have a road connection through Pakistan, Afghanistan, and UAE, so that their transportation of oil and other materials could come by road. All of you being literate and belonging to the teaching category, you will see that the sea passage, there are only 2 passages. Most of the trade is done through the sea. And sea coming from Arabian countries to all the way to China will have to go through the Indian Ocean, Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, etc. And they get exposed to a long journey, which they want to avoid. So there is a purpose behind what Chinese have done, but never, perhaps as per me, they never thought that will stand to them so strongly as we are doing. Coming about the South China Sea, first of all, when the Galwan Valley was going on, Navy is considered a quiet service, silent service. We had deployed all our naval force in the Indian Ocean and fully ready to block the transportation of oil or any material to China or coming out of China. Our nuclear submarines, as everybody knows, we have 2 nuclear submarines today, also were deployed around South China Sea and telling them very clearly that we are here. And if you do any mischief, our nuclear submarines are loaded with all kind of missiles and weapons. And it will be really suicide if they get into some mischief. Seeing all this, China's language has changed. And now they're talking that we are two countries, we can't be without each other, and our trade activity should restart, and all that has happened. They know it. Luckily, the Russians have also not supported China. Americans have sent their fleet, and all along Taiwan, Australia, Japan, Philippines, Malaysia, somehow China has been claiming the seas in this area, even encroaching into their territorial waters. And therefore, today, if you see, India has been able to take along with India all the powers, though China is trying to surround us by having a port in Karachi, by having a port in Sri Lanka, by having a port in Iran, so that we are also surrounded. He is also trying to do some mischief in Nepal against us, and so on. So all these activities, we are aware about it. And they also know that we have also taken proper action of doing this. Now, I must also tell you, coming to 1971 naval operation, a little bit about it. 4th December is celebrated as the Navy Day. I myself was on INS Mysore just after my training, ship tenure, and that was the biggest surprise. In military operations, the surprise factor is the most important factor. If you can do what enemy could not even dream of, then you'll have to be successful. And accordingly, in hostilities or war, the local commanders are given full liberty, whatever they wish to do. It was the plan of Western Naval Command, then Vice Admiral Kohli, he was commanding in chief, that the missile boats are a small kind of boats loaded with missiles, but though their speed is quite high, 30, 40 nautical miles, but their endurance, the oil, the diesel which they have, cannot run more than 8 to 10 hours. And accordingly, nobody can think of that the missile boats can go up to Pakistan waters and do some mischief. What was done, that INS Mysore, the mothership, took about 10 missile boats without their power. They were tied both the sides and camouflaged as the lifeboats, went up to the high seas near Pakistan, where you can go into the international waters. That I can tell you, the territorial waters are 12 nautical miles from the baseline, that is the low tide. 24 nautical miles is contiguous zone, and then EEZ is 240 miles. So as long as you are away from 12 nautical miles from the baseline, you can have at your ships there. So these boats were towed without any power, and INS Mysore also switched off the power. So if switch off the power and all signals, then nobody can catch you at to where you are. Radioactivity will not be there. So we were just about 30 nautical miles from Pakistan, and the time was selected early morning, twilight, where they can go hit Karachi harbor. The range of a missile is about 20, 30 nautical miles. Go up to 20 nautical miles, take the range, rush back, so that there is no attack on them. In the meantime, the Air Force also coordinated the attack, that in case their aircrafts come, we will also take them on. The missile boats went at high speed, bombarded for the first time in the world history in their ships in their own harbor, and which you may recall that the Pakistan Karachi harbor was blown off and the fire went on for 3-4 days along. But it was fully risky and as to exposing our missile boats and their men, but luckily they came back on Mysore, and by then the Air Force aircrafts were there and giving the cover. Little bit about sinking of Ghazi. Ghazi submarine was of Pakistan and one of the best submarine, which we didn't have that kind of thing with us. Ghazi was deployed to hit Vikrant, but Ghazi had the capacity to go down to the depth that we don't have any sonar or detect instrument to detect that. What Eastern Command Admiral he planned that he bought all the dry rations and vegetables and fruits for 1 week in Visakhapatnam, giving the impression that INS Vikrant is around Visakhapatnam. Ghazi came, and also some messages were sent, telegrams to somebody's house, that the Vikrant sailor's mother is on deathbed and need airlifting this sailor. We created a scene where giving them fully aware that Vikrant is somewhere off Visakhapatnam, but Vikrant was sent in Andaman Nicobar Islands where there is a protection and natural harbor. When Ghazi tried to they kept finding INS Vikrant, and somehow our ships got their echo, and Ghazi was sunk by our ships. And the whole Vizag heard the third when the Ghazi got busted, and the fishermen who are very friendly with the Navy gave all the information that something is floating. And there later on our divers went, brought the Ghazi nameplate, opened the hatch where the dead bodies started coming out and all that. Now, I just wanted to tell you that these are the heroic acts. Once you are in military, you feel like doing for your country. You don't get nervous or scared of death facing you. And that's the motivation, and that's the leadership which is required in military. Military leadership is considered the best leadership and the most difficult leadership, where you motivate your men to die. And no other profession you have this kind of the requirement of a leadership. The leader has to lead by example, and that is why you find our young officers leading from the front getting killed, and thereafter only the soldiers and others come. Well, these are very interesting topics. I will keep talking and you will keep listening, because these are the things which perhaps we can plan sometimes later, speaking in detail. Only I would give the message to the students that you are the future of India, and we have to depend very heavily on young India students. You'll have to be dedicated. You always will have to think about the nation before yourself. This is what the military is trained, and even in Rotary, it is trained and it is told us service before self. That whatever capacity you can do, it is not that only money should be given, anything. In fact, one of our district governor of Rotary, Mr. Agarwal, he told us, just do one good thing a day, if nothing more. And I keep that at the back of my mind. I also keep at the back of mind my commanding officer. I used to be perhaps one of the naughty under 20 officer. And my commanding officer told me once, which I heavily and highly respect him, Admiral Sharma, that son, either you be naughty, be then the most notorious boy, or get on to the job and be the best boy. Whatever you do, excel yourself and be the best. Don't be the backbencher. And from that day onwards, I keep at the back of my mind, be the best. And I would tell my pyara students, all pyara students, that be the best, whatever you can. This is the only time that you can do. Once the time is gone, today it was 12 o'clock is gone, it will not come back. So make your time fully use of it, do something for the country, do something for yourself. No harm in being ambitious, having dreams, work towards that, nobody will stop you. Vishaka told you, by the way, I'm her Tauji and from the same village. Yes, I have a village background and I'm proud of it. I decided from the very beginning in Meerut College, Meerut, either the students go to military or to police or they go to judiciary. I decided I'll join the defense forces. And Navy was the first one to call me for duty. I was selected in Army also as a commissioned officer. And hence in the Navy. And I fully enjoyed the military life. I can assure you there is no other life better than military life. Certainly you don't have that kind of money that you can buy a sari for your wife every month or jewelry every month, but that is not needed. But the style, the peaceful living, you restrict only to your commanding officer, to your unit. You are quite careless about the politicians and other activities. We still trust each other. We don't make emails. I just say, do this, and that is done. He doesn't say, please make an email to me and I'll do it. No. But if any confusion, if any dispute arises, and he says, sir, you have told me to do it, I'll say, yes, Bacha, I must have told you. I have forgotten. I'm sorry. So anything going wrong as commanding officer is my responsibility. And all the laurels come is certainly the units. Each and every one of the unit feels proud of it. Lastly, my message to the students will be, please be the best. Even if you are from the village background or a poor background, it should not hold you back. You can achieve whatever you can achieve. I admit that in Meerut area in UP, the standard of English is not that good as it is needed to be. That was one of my weaknesses, which continues till today. But it will compensate if you are hardworking, you are ambitious, you are time-bound, you are very, very clear in your mind and focused as to what is to be done. That would compensate. Certainly, it is a big help, which one should keep improving, and I do keep improving even now. I have done all the prestigious courses, including the Defense Services Staff College. Even at that time in 1983, I was told how to pronounce some words, but there's no harm at all to learn at any stage. You remain from a particular area, you have an accent of that area, and that always remains with you, which one should be proud of, and which I am. I, in the end, and conclude, thank the principal, the trustees, both Mr. Gupta's, the faculty members, Dr. Saxena, Vishaka, to have invited me and to listen to me patiently. More military operations and other matters relating to the actual story, perhaps we can speak later on to your college separately. And at this, again, happy Republic Day, happy Independence Day, and all the best to you. Thank you very much. Now, I have cut down, I did not say in detail. You may have some questions about the military to clarify. Certainly, I would be most glad to clarify your points or clarification.
Thank you so much, sir. In such less time and such less words, you have given us very meaningful messages for life indeed. Your talk was highly enlightening and inspirational for not only the students, even the faculties. I'm sure all would agree with us. There are two questions. Firstly, Ms. Chanishka Jain wants to ask you why you did not choose army instead. Hello?
Why?
Why you did not choose
Yes.
army? Like you said, you got a call from both army and navy.
Okay, okay. Uh, uh, my cousin brother was also in the Navy, Commander Mahendra Kumar. I went to meet him in Delhi. I was in Meerut College at that time. And he took me for lunch along with another officer, Commander Jaggi, that time Lieutenant Jaggi. Both very handsome officers, pretty good looking. And when they took me to South Block canteen, if anyone has gone and knows about South Block in Delhi, there were many security DSC persons and army and navy, and everybody kept saluting them. I was highly impressed by the salutes. When we came back after lunch, I heard both of them talking about their girlfriends, having some plans in the evening. These were two things were motivating factors. And the final one was that Navy gave me the call letter earlier, a week earlier, than the Army call letter came. So I decided with all these factors to go to the Navy and decline the Army offer. Thank you.
Thank you. And Gauri Sharma wants to know if you can throw an insight on IAS officers. A bit off the context though, but if you can please.
Okay. What you really want to know, can you unmute her and tell me what do you want to know about the IAS officers?
Gauri, can you unmute
IAS
yourself?
IAS vis-a-vis the defense, do you want to know that or what is your actual query?
Yes, sir. IAS Defense.
She wants to know about IAS defense, sir. Hello, can you hear us, sir?
Well, there's a, yeah, I can hear, I can tell you that IS officers, their selection, their way of training is altogether different than the military leadership. We don't need most intelligent and those 100 out of 100 marks kind of thing. We need an all-rounder, and our test, if you know, service selection board, first is the written test in UPSC, and after you selected up to a grade, then there's a service selection board for 3-4 days where you have the psychological test, the group testing test, the interviews, and they see overall leadership, whether you can be a military leader. In IAS, somehow they don't need this kind of quality, and accordingly, there's a vast difference between our training, their procedures, our procedures. Our promotions are limited. As you go higher up, the percentage is very low. In IAS, somehow the percentage of promotions up to the joint secretary is almost about 80%. And they have made a new thing now, NFU, non-functional scale. If your course mate has been promoted to secretary, then one lower scale before you retire will be given to you. There's nothing like that in the defense forces. You got to earn your rank, and you got to have only up to that, and nothing. Now, both the lives are altogether different, I say. If you ask me, one news channel has taken my interview the day before yesterday, and they asked me, that girl asked me, what would you do in your next life? And I say, I would love to join them in the Navy, the Defense Forces. I would love to have the same parents, same brothers, sisters, same wife, same children. I'm pretty happy about it. I don't prefer to be an IAS officer somehow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, questions are many, but respecting our time duration, we move ahead with the session. Thank you once again, sir. We as it has been almost a ritual in our college to always have some cultural show on the Independence Day. We have a small performance by Harsiddhi and Reena.
I just wanted to
Yes.
Vishaka, I have
ask
a
you
small
one.
question to ask.
I just wanted
Hello.
to ask you. I just wanted to ask you one point. Can I?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Is your college affiliated to any Rotary Club or not yet?
We
No,
do
no.
have a Rotaract club.
Right, right.
We are
Rotaract. You
affiliated
already
to
have.
Rotaract Club. Yeah, we have a Rotaract Club, and we are affiliated to Rotary Club Bombay South. And our Rotaract Club is very, very active. In fact, recently they awarded number of
Very good.
superheroes, a lot of medals, and at the hands of Nitin Mukesh ji, who was the chief guest, and number of awards were given to these superheroes. Yes, sir. Your talk was very nice, sir. The Ghazi attack information is very
Very good. Nice
fascinating
to know that.
because we always hear and see in the movies, but the people who go through it, I mean, I can understand the challenges the Navy and the military people face, the Army, sir. Thank you so much, and um, we bow our head for all the activities you all do and save our nation, and we feel extremely proud of it. Extremely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir,
Yes,
sir,
Arun, sir, please ask your question. Yes.
sir, I just wanted to ask you that yesterday I have seen this movie called Gunjan Saxena, and it's basically a movie which is
Mhm.
based on Kargil War, and there they have shown that gender discrimination in Air Force, while this training session and
Yes.
all that. So I just wanted to know that is that so, sir? Because I've
Well,
really not.
I read in the
Yes, sir.
newspaper that Air Force has already objected to it. The role played by that girl officer, which has been shown. Well, I
Yes.
must tell you that once we have accepted the women officers to be inducted, including the operational role, but there are limitations. We got to go a long way to accept. Whether you like it or not, our soldiers are still not used to accepting orders from a lady officer.
Okay.
Also, let's say naval ships. Our ships are not built where we have a separate toilet. The toilets are not attached toilets except the commanding officer. The toilets are the common toilets which are used both by separately by officers and separately by sailors. Now the women officers have to be, if have to be employed on ships, the ships will have to be built accordingly that way.
Okay.
So slowly, we have started coming up. Women officers are doing quite well, and uh, there is no discrimination as such as have been shown in the film, which is really not correct. But there is some element which I must admit that we got to come a long way. If you ask me, as a commanding officer on a naval ship, I'm not yet prepared to accept a woman officer during operations. During peacetime is okay, but during operations, there's no time to see whether there's a separate toilet or not, or what will these lady officers do and not. So, for the time being, we have accepted, the beginning has started, but we got to go a long way to go. But there's no discrimination. Once season officer, season officer.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Um, shall we now move on to our cultural part? I request Harsiddhi to please sing a song for us. She's going to sing Teri Mitti and Mera Karma too. Over to you, Harsiddhi. Harsiddhi, can you hear me? We are already almost.
Ma'am, I'm presenting it. Can I start presenting it?
Yes, please, Fazia.
तू मेरा कर्मा तू मेरा धर्मा तू मेरा अभिमान है तू मेरा कर्मा तू मेरा धर्मा तू मेरा अभिमान है वतन महबूब मेरे तुझ पे दिल कुर्बान है वतन महबूब मेरे तुझ पे दिल कुर्बान है हम जिएंगे और मरेंगे हम जिएंगे और मरेंगे ए वतन तेरे लिए दिल दिया है जान भी देंगे ए वतन तेरे लिए दिल दिया है जान भी देंगे ए वतन तेरे लिए हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई हम वतन हम नाम है हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख ईसाई हम वतन हम नाम है जो करे इनको जुदा मजहब नहीं इल्जाम है हम जिएंगे और मरेंगे हम जिएंगे और मरेंगे ए वतन तेरे लिए दिल दिया है जा भी देंगे ए वतन तेरे लिए ओ मेरा कर्मा तू मेरा धर्मा तू मेरा सब कुछ तू तेरा सब कुछ मैं थैंक यू
Thank you, Harsiddhi, for that wonderful performance. Thank you, Fazia, for playing it for us. I now request Reena to please sing the song Watan Mere Abad Rahe Tu for us.
Yes, ma'am. ए वतन वतन मेरे आबाद रहे तू, ए वतन वतन मेरे आबाद रहे तू, मैं जहाँ रहूँ जहाँ में याद रहे तू, मैं जहाँ रहूँ जहाँ में याद रहे तू, ए वतन मेरे वतन, ए वतन मेरे वतन। तू ही मेरी मंजिल है, पहचान तुझी से, तू ही मेरी मंजिल है, पहचान तुझी से, पहुँचूं मैं जहाँ भी मेरी बुनियाद रहे तू, पहुँचूं मैं जहाँ भी मेरी बुनियाद रहे तू, ए वतन वतन मेरे आबाद रहे तू, ए वतन वतन मेरे ए वतन मेरे वतन। तुझ पे कोई गम के आंसू आने नहीं दूं, तुझ पे कोई गम के आंसू आने नहीं दूं, कुर्बान मेरी जान तुझ पे शाद रहे तू, कुर्बान मेरी जान तुझ पे शाद रहे तू, ए वतन वतन मेरे आबाद रहे तू, मैं जहाँ रहूँ जहाँ याद रहे तू, ए वतन मेरे वतन, ए वतन मेरे वतन। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Reena, for that performance. There were some network issues, but we enjoyed it. Thank you. Now we've come to the end of this symbolic ceremony. Though the celebrations would continue forever, with the permission of our chief guest and our principal madam, may we move towards the vote of thanks session. Okay, thank you,
Yes,
ma'am.
Vishaka, yes.
Thank you, sir. I request our DLLE coordinator, Dr. Meenam Saxena, ma'am, to kindly propose the vote of thanks for today's session.
Okay, thank you, Vishaka. Am I audible? Hello, Vishaka, am
Yes,
I
yes,
audible?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Very good afternoon, all the dignitaries and the participants. It is my indeed privilege to propose the formal vote of thanks on the celebration of 74th Independence Day. As all we applaud the contribution and sacrifice of our warriors who fight at the border and who fight against the spread of coronavirus, like doctors, health workers, police, journalists. We also pay tribute to soldiers who sacrificed their life for our nation on today's occasion. On behalf of our DLLE unit of our Lala Lajpat Rai College, I extend my hearty vote of thanks to Honorable Chief Guest Commodore Bijendra Kumar Ahluwalia, recipient of Vishisht Seva Medal, for accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion. As Sir has thrown the light on the tragic and motivating story of Galwan Valley, how our soldiers include Colonel fought bravely bare hands and sacrificed their life for the nation. Sir has also made us aware about 1970 naval operation during Indo-Pak War. Sir has also briefed us story of real heroes of our nation. And really, sir, your each and every words are highly motivated for us and our students. I also wish to express gratitude to our principal, Dr. Neelam Arora, for her constant support and encouragement for these programs. I'm also grateful to Vice Principal of BCom section, Professor Vidya Bide, Vice Principal of SFC, Dr. Arun Pujari, Vice Principal of Junior College, Ms. Sulbha Ore, for the constant support. I'm also thankful to the all DLLE volunteer and participant Harsiddhi and Reena for melodious patriotic song and technical team headed by Professor Vishaka for making the program successful. And last but not the least, all the faculty members of Senior College and SFC, Junior College, and non-teaching staff and all the students for attending this program. Really, I want to thank everyone. Sir, once again, thank you very much for spending your valuable time for this program. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So I think
Yes,
that
I think end of the program. Now we
yes.
just
Thank you, sir, Commodore Ahluwalia sir, for being with us. And yes, it's really a matter of great honor for me that he is my uncle. He mentioned it also. Thank you for that.